Welcome back to GB News.
Hoyle was in
Remembrance Sunday. You're seeing the scenes unfolding there outside the Cenotaph as 10,000 veterans continue to march past through the capital. And joining us in the studio is Matthew Hellyer. Matt, he's CEO of the Pilgrim Bandits, but more importantly, an Army veteran with over 25 years military service. As a parachute regiment recruit, he was awarded both the Prince of Wales badge and champion recruit. You successfully passed, Matt, your UKSF selection and reached the rank of warrant officer in the SAS, which quite frankly sounds extremely impressive. You served in every conflict over the past 3 decades, completing over 400 operations.
Most extraordinary, Matt. It's wonderful to have you on GB News on Remembrance Sunday. You're wearing about 10 medals.
Correct, yeah.
Would you like to tell us about those that you're able to tell us about?
A lot of the medals here are operational service medals, so which are issued for each theatre of war that we or theatre of conflict that we serve in. So we have Northern Ireland, Sierra Leone, Afghanistan, Iraq, West Africa, and then we have a couple of commemorative medals, some operational service, length of service in theatres, and obviously a long service good conduct medal, so I never got caught.
Were you in Bosnia as well?
We was in Bosnia.
I'm asking because I was in charge in those days.
Yeah, I quite remember.
You did certain operations.
Certain operations.
Very discreet of you indeed. 400 operations. What constitutes an operation? I mean, does an operation necessarily mean danger or not?
Of course it means danger.
It does.
In Special Forces and the Parachute Regiment, most of the things we do are dangerous. So an operation is a mission under our criteria. And put it into context, everyone remembers the embassy siege in 1980. Obviously that was before my time, but that is Operation Nimrod. So each one of those constitutes an operation.
Right.
And when we was deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq, we would undertake 3 of those operations a night, and sometimes more.
That is breathtaking. And changing the tone, what sort of people are you remembering today on this Remembrance Sunday?
We have, on one of our operations, one of our deployments, we lost 10% of our squadron. In an SAS squadron, that's a huge amount of people, plus people that were injured. But all the way back in my family history, I've lost great uncles, I've lost close relatives in wars on foreign lands, supporting this country. And of course, in the present day, I've lost extreme friends, and I still do today. So I remember all of my comrades that are not here with me today. I remember family, I remember friends, and I remember all the civilians as well that have to go through the grief of losing those family members, and I'm one of those.
And Matt, you were diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2013 and you were forced to leave the military a year later. I would imagine, having served in 400 operations and being in the SAS, which is the absolute elite of military service, that it must have been extremely difficult adjusting to civilian life.
Yeah, extremely difficult. And, the military itself is geared around looking after soldiers and who are injured through battle. So some people like myself who have illnesses and ailments that threaten their life, it's a bit of a challenge for the military, and when I put that up towards the MOD and the military and my chain of command, they sort of looked at me and said, well, you go on the NHS. And to me, that was pretty hard to take after spending and giving 25 years of my life to the military, and to be told that. But, I'm a sort of well-rounded individual, and I know that our military and our MOD are geared around protecting civilians. So we have to take on another fight, and that was a fight that I took on personally.
And our previous guest, Stuart Fawcett, was saying that the military had taught him resilience. He needed it. He was injured. Do you feel that the resilience you'd learned in the military helped you to cope with having to leave the military?
Your personal data could be exposed right now without you even knowing it. And if you want it removed, use incogni.com/GB News in the description now and get 60% off an annual plan on us. Incogni reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information be deleted from their databases. And they'll keep sending removal requests to make sure your data stays gone. Sometimes your information ends up on strange, obscure websites that automated tools just can't reach. And that's why Incogni just launched their unlimited plan with a feature called custom removals. With this, you can submit any link where your personal information appears, literally paste in the URL, and their privacy team will investigate and work to get it removed. And getting started is super easy. Hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account, and tell them whose data you want removed. Grant them permission to work on your behalf, and then all you've got to do is sit back and relax. They'll keep you updated along the way. Incogni is totally risk-free for 30 days. If you try it, it's not for you, you'll get a full refund. So take back control of your personal data today with Incogni. Use our code GBNews at checkout via the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual plan.
I tell you about, people talk about resilience, but they don't really know what resilience is, and I talk about it a lot.
Good.
And resilience is, I'm the CEO of the Pilgrim Bandits charity, which looks after some of our most injured and sick individuals in this country. And we're talking limbless individuals, guys with motor neurone disease. And when I get out of bed in the morning, you know, it's tough. I get out of bed, I'm quite lazy. But when my comrades with no legs get out the leg, they have to get out of bed an hour before me. They have to do administration on their stumps. They have to look after themselves before they present themselves to the world. So to me, getting out of bed every morning is not a chore for me, but it is for my comrades. That is resilience. When you are injured and you must get out of bed, you must face the world with the injuries you have been subjected to, protecting our civilians in this country and our freedom. Now that is true resilience. So resilience doesn't even come in it to me.
It's even more significant when people are being injured in the course of duty, fighting for crown and country. Organisations like yours are brilliant, and we know that the charitable sector does so much for ex-servicemen and women, but is that because the government simply doesn't do enough? We go and look at the scenes in America. I was there relatively recently. You go to a sports event, if there's members of the military, former, past, present, in the crowd, everyone stands, gives them a standing ovation. They're absolutely revered. And yet we heard earlier a great many ex-veterans who are in prison right now, a great many we know are homeless. Are these brave men and women being supported enough by the state?
Well, I can tell you, because it's my area of concern as well. The governments, and as you know, Michael, the governments give a huge amount of money to charities, but that money isn't being spent correctly, in my opinion. There's hundreds of millions of pounds that the government give. Doesn't matter which government it is, they are subjected to give this money. It's controlled by a group of military charities. It needs to be disseminated down to the individuals in need and not given to events or stuff like that. We can look at events once we have cared for all of our veterans. We've taken every veteran off the street. We've made sure every veteran gets the care he deserves. And then we can look at events. The money needs to be spent properly. So there is a huge amount.
If people wanted to support your charity, how would they set about doing that?
They can go online, look at our charity, decide whether they want to support my charity, which is not only a military and blue light, it helps communities. And it's www.pilgrimbandits.org. You can see exactly what we get up to. We're a small charity that punches well above our weight, and we are committed to all of our veterans, communities and blue light services.
Matt, it's probably a rather big question to answer briefly, but what impact did being in the SAS have on your life?
For me, it's a huge impact. It's excitement. You know, I loved every minute of it, but, you know, it comes with sacrifice. And I had I've sacrificed the family over this. My first, I had 3 children. Unfortunately, one of my boys died 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
But I didn't afford him the time that I think he deserved, because I was selfish, in supporting and honouring this country, and I thought that was the right thing to do. But really, looking back, I would like to have spent a bit more time with my family. All of our families break down. The divorce rate is huge, and the children suffer a little bit. But that's because we're dedicated to this country. So I hope that people can see the dedication and commitment all of our armed forces give to this country, and they need to be respected.
And despite what you've just said, I think your first reaction when Camilla asked you the question was to say how much you'd enjoyed it, how much you loved it. And that may be a mystery to some viewers. You're constantly in danger, day after day, doing very dangerous things, day after day, losing colleagues, and yet you love it. Explain that.
We love it because you are it's almost like being part of the England rugby squad, where we have people that you can rely on 100%. We are running around, fit, we're great individuals, and the work we get into is extremely complex. So it's not just physical, it's absolutely mental as well. So we get given the government's biggest problems to solve. And unfortunately, in this day and age, we're getting persecuted and prosecuted for it. So now, my fight is not with the enemy. My fight is with the government at the moment. And we are trying to create a group through me and through some great individuals that are supported, like Chris Parry, who comes on this programme. And we're creating a group that will bring all groups together so we can educate individuals on why we do the things, the rules of engagement, the chain of command, and we want the support off of the government, and we want the support off of the public. So,
Matthew Hellyer, thank you very much indeed.
An outstanding interview, I thought.
Yes, indeed. And do check out Pilgrim Bandits if you would like to make a contribution. Well, coming up next,